Hi everybody, hope today's been a good one so far. My name is Yao G, and I think it's fair to say that we're kind of in a time limbo mode at the minute between decent AAA Star Wars titles. What with the recent announcement from EA and DICE to now not support Battlefront 2 anymore, and then the seemingly rushed announcement after a possibly well-placed leak concerning codename Maverick, which has now turned out to be the new Star Wars Squadrons title, it leaves us in a bit of a middle time zone with no real Star Wars title to get stuck into. But fear not, because if you're lucky enough to own a PS4 or Nintendo Switch, you can curb your Star Wars gaming cravings with a newly released remastered title of an absolute classic. Came out last week, Star Wars Podracer. Originally released in 1999 on the Nintendo 64, PC, Game Boy Color and Dreamcast by LucasArts, and selling over 3 million copies, this in itself warranting a sequel to the game amazingly titled Star Wars Podracer Revenge on the PS2. The original title took the scene from the Phantom Menace movie with Anakin pod racing and turned it into a fully playable racer title, adding a ton of new worlds, a number of characters and a minor progression system, which at the time in 1999, I don't mind telling you, was pretty damn cool. On a personal level, I can remember me and a few mates spending hours upon days sat around the Nintendo 64 trying to clock this game, which after battling through some of the later insanely difficult levels, we finally did and thoroughly enjoyed doing it. Although I'm still a little bit dubious as to whether GMR Magazine's rating of this being the 5th best Star Wars game of all time is actually warranted given the number of other great titles within the franchise. So what are Asper, the company given the task of remastering this title, bringing to the table for the £15 or $20 price tag, and is it worth it? Well, for a start, a pretty solid title with 25 unlockable characters from the Star Wars multiverse to play with, ranging from characters such as Anakin Skywalker and Sebulba, who's unlockable, to the likes of Elon Mack and Gasgano. Along with that, we're getting all the original 8 worlds to race around with and a total of 24 race locations. Now, this part seems a little bit different to me, as even though there are 3 tournaments to compete in, the same as in the original title, before there were only 7 races per tournament and a final unlockable invitational pod racing circuit. This time around with 8 races per tournament, and as yet I don't see the unlockable circuit. I may be wrong on this, as I haven't played through the whole remastered title on the Switch as yet, but even if not, it does seem as though we're getting the full 24 level roster in here. Either way, finishing these races always unlocks another race, and sometimes also unlocks a new character. They also always give a number of credits which can then be used to upgrade your pod racer with a pretty decent amount of available upgrades, it's fair to say. Upgrades which you are going to need to purchase if you want to be able to compete properly in the later races as the difficulty increases. The upgrades can be fitted using your pit droids and of course are purchased from the one and only Watto. Just don't try any mind tricks on him, okay? Control wise, in terms of the actual racing, we're now in dreamland with motion controls for the Switch which work really well and comfortable thumbstick controls for the PS4. I do remember playing this with the original thumbstick that was created by Nintendo for the N64. The innovation that we now take for granted on our new flashy controllers, and to be playing this now with the updated versions is very, very cool. Even though there are so many good things to be said about this remastered title, I still do have a few personal gripes to throw into the mix, namely the graphics. Oh wow, the graphics. They call this a remastered version, but I feel that this is a light representation of what we get, and I would go as far as to call it almost an upgraded port of the original. Yeah, it has the new controls and a bit of a different tournament layout, but the graphics, I mean, we're playing this title in 2020, 21 years after the original, And the first thing I noticed when loading it up, even in the cutscenes before the first race, were glitchy, choppy cutscene graphics. I thought it was because I was playing it in handheld mode on the Switch, so I tried to plug it into the TV with unfortunately the same choppy graphic results. Next, and this is a big one for me, the view distance. The original title, be it 21 years ago, suffered greatly from view distance, especially on levels like Boon to Eve Classic, where you could barely see to the end of your nose. Okay, it wasn't quite that bad, but you couldn't see very far into the distance, it's fair to say. Fast forward 21 years to two brand new high-grade gaming systems, and it seems that Asper just couldn't be bothered to address the main graphics problem with this title, in my opinion. I still can't see further than the end of my nose when racing, and for me, that's a big issue that could have been easily fixed. There are other graphic issues worth mentioning. I know it's a bit of a dirty word mostly these days, but let's say it, polygons. Yeah, remember those in gaming? Well, it seems Asper still loves them to bits and has made no effort to eliminate the use in this title. Mountains, scenery, and even those pods haven't been altered from their original state. Saying all this might make it sound like the graphics are identical to the original title, which I have to admit, when I first loaded the game, I did wonder. But after a little more investigation and a proper jog of my memory, and from what you can see here on the screen, I realised that the graphics have actually had a pretty decent overhaul. So, all in all, is it worth spending the smallish amount of money to purchase this title? I'd say for the most part, yes. But let me break it down a little, because I think it's worth putting into a few categories, as this all in all won't appeal or be appreciated by everyone. So firstly, yes, if you're a Star Wars gaming fan, go grab this title for the price. You're getting a lot of gameplay for your money with some of your favourite characters and worlds in Star Wars, and you'll enjoy spending a good 5 to 6 hours blasting through it, and will also have the appeal of racing against your mates with it. Secondly, if you own a Switch and are kind of sitting on the fence about it, then again, I would say yes, go and buy the game. The fact that you can take a decent budget racing title with you on the go, and it has a Star Wars tag, is a pretty good plus in my book. It's not a Mario Kart, but you'll still get a lot of fun bringing it to your friends and racing with them or grinding through it, while, for example, sat on public transport. Sure, there are a lot of better Switch titles out there, but this is a simple pick up and play title that you'll get a lot of fun out of. Thirdly, PS4 owners sitting on the fence. If you're wondering whether to spend money on this or something else, I'd probably go and buy something else. That's not to say that you won't enjoy this, but if you're not a Star Wars fan with a PS4, then I think you will be firstly disappointed with the graphics, and secondly begrudge having spent money on it when there are so many other budget racing titles available for the system that probably are better. So there we have it, a brand newish remastered / port of Star Wars Podracer, a title for now that might keep some of us busy while we wait to don our flight suits, helmets and climb into the cockpits of Star Wars Squadrons in October. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button, subscribe for more, and hit me in the comments. And as always, have a great day, take it easy, and bye for now.